Zero Build Fortnite is changing forever. A popular leaker by the name of Hypex has leaked the newest update notes that we'll be releasing very shortly, and it looks like Zero Build is going to be completely revamped. So let's just go over some of the things that we changed in the newest update. Here I have Hypex's post for the new Zero Build update, and you can see a bunch of things are going to be added. Like an insane amount of changes will be happening. Completely changing the meta, completely changing the playstyles, and completely changing everything. But let's just start with the first thing. Pocket items replaced the old build button. Now, he goes over this in later aspects of the post, but it essentially just means that your build button in Zero Build will now either pull up shockwaves, med mist, or shield bubbles, depending on what you have, and it will be on a cooldown basis. And so you have an unlimited amount of uses, but it will have a cooldown, so you can't just use it over and over again. And I'm not sure how many you're going to get in this slot, whether it's like 1 or like 3 or like 6, or I'm not sure, but yeah, that will be a thing happening in the newest update. And I think it's super relevant for Zero Build because Zero Build was always based on a bit of RNG where mobility and utility was very important, but whether you found it or not depended on your luck. And so if you were unlucky, you just didn't find any and you'd be kind of in trouble. But with this update, now you're guaranteed some amount of utility, which is very nice for balance. And it's going to be something that I'm really looking forward to. And I think it'll be good for the balance of the game. It'll be less RNG and more kind of like skill based, but there'll still be some RNG as well because players will still benefit from the items, the mobility items that are on the ground, as well as in your pocket items. Yeah, so I guess in one, I kind of went over like a bunch of them at once. The next point is just unlimited use utility slot with cooldowns. That's basically the pocket items I was talking about. Start every match with a pocket item. That's the same thing. Players now start with shield, pistol, and pocket item, which is very interesting. I think that I'm actually not a big fan of this change personally, because I feel as though the pistol in the season is way too powerful to be something that you spawn with, even if it's a white pistol. The pistol is an incredibly powerful weapon this season, and I feel as though you're gonna get a lot of like just you land, maybe you even just get shot out of the sky, or maybe you just land and you're forced into a 50-50 instantly. I kind of liked like that beginning little item scramble thing that happens when you land in a contested place, but yeah, I'm not a really big fan of it personally. I like starting with the pocket item, but I'm not really a fan of the shield and the pistol because I feel like it adds more cheesy elements to it. Okay, the next point is pocket items can be swapped at vending machines. I like that. So maybe I guess you start with a random pocket item and then you can, I guess because it's a vending machine, you can buy a different pocket item to have permanently in that match, which I actually really enjoy. It gives you that flexibility of being able to change your pocket item, and it gives it a sort of aspect of accessibility because vending machines are like everywhere, but it's not so easy that you can just instantly do it. You know, you still have to get to the vending machine, you still have to invest the gold. But I like this change. I think it's good. It supplements the pocket items very well. And then the next point is just launch items, shockwaves, med mist, and shield bubbles. I kind of went over this already. Those will be the pocket item items that will be available. I guess the next point is lethal fall damage replaced with low HP instead of death. And when I first read this, I actually wasn't a fan because I figured that it would, I'm not sure, like I kind of enjoyed seeing like the meme kind of like fall damage death sort of moments that happen with with less experienced players. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that it's actually a very strategic kind of element to the game. For example, like when you're getting chased by an enemy, you're at a very high position, you can, and you don't have any mobility or anything, you can just jump off the cliff, and maybe you'll take a bunch of damage. Maybe you'll take like 99 white health and you only have 1 white health left, but you can like potentially jump off that cliff and get away that way, and you'll be super weak, but you'll be alive. Or inversely, if you only have 1 HP left, maybe you can't die from fall damage anymore. So it's, if you have 1 HP left and you jump off a cliff, maybe you don't take any damage because it says that lethal fall damage will be replaced with low HP. So if you're already low HP, maybe you just don't even take any damage and you can just jump off the cliff. And of course enemies can follow you, enemies can still use mobility and not take fall damage and chase you. So it becomes a kind of strategic element of like, do I want to take this damage to get a little bit of an advantage, and like conserve my mobility to maybe get away, or and then as the chaser, you have to think about whether or not you want to use your mobility, whether or not you want to take the damage to chase or let him go. There's a lot of different variables to this, and I think it's very interesting, and it allows for more clutch moments as well, because if you're low HP, you can just jump off a cliff and you'll have very low consequences, but you'll still be low HP, so it'll still be a difficult scenario afterwards. Next on the list, I guess we have, you can now cut your glider near the ground. That basically just means that if you're really close to the ground and you're gliding, you can just cancel the glider and just drop down. I think this is kind of not unnecessary. It adds for more fluidity, I'll say. Like if you're pushing somebody with the glider and then you're kind of approaching them from the air, you can potentially cut your glider sooner and begin shooting sooner. You could maybe cut line of sight with the glider. If you're gliding away from an enemy and they're shooting you or chasing you, you can, just drop down and cut the line of sight. I think it's all right. It's not like it adds for more mobility and fluidity, but it's just not something that I was really wanting. Not wanting, but it wasn't something I desired very much. Like, it's just okay. But I guess next point is unlimited stamina while holding the pickaxe. I actually enjoy this very much because it adds to my pocket items point earlier of mobility being 2 RNG. So with the unlimited stamina pickaxe, it gives you unlimited stamina so you can run forever while you have the pickaxe and jump forever. And it gives players more mobility options without being more powerful than the current mobility options, which I think is fantastic for balance. It allows you to do things in desperate and or unlucky scenarios while still having a downside as well, because you have to have your pickaxe out. Just like how sprinting gives you a speed boost, but you can't shoot or aim while you do it. It's the same thing with the pickaxe. You get unlimited stamina, but you can't aim or shoot while you have your pickaxe out, or you can't even do like anything. You can't even use your mobility. So it's very similar to sprinting, where you have a upside, but you also have a downside, and that downside compounds because if you're sprinting and you have your pickaxe out, in order to shoot someone, not only do you have to stop sprinting, but you also have to swap off your pickaxe at the same time. So it's very strategic. You have to be mindful of when you use this new technique, but it also gives you a plus side as well, so players can take advantage of the upside while mitigating the downside. This video is getting a little bit long for just a little review, so I'll try to speed it up here. Eliminations restore overshield. I think it's very good. It's basically like Siphon, but it only helps you in immediate combat because overshield is something that would regenerate anyways, regardless of what you do. Whereas normal Siphon would give you HP or shield, which is something that would not regenerate over time. And so it benefits you regardless of immediate combat. but it also benefits you in immediate combat as well. So I think I think this is more balanced than Siphon, because in a way. So that's a good change from me. Environmental cover is stronger. I think this was unnecessary, to be honest. I don't think this was a needed thing, especially now that players automatically have shield bubbles and or shockwaves. I think part of the aspect of Fortnite is that cover is not permanent in terms of like the destructible ones. And so I feel like they didn't need to give players more options to stall out the game. Like it depends also how much they increase it. Like if they only increase it by like, 15%, I think it's fine. It's not a change that I desire, but it's not something that impacts the game in a big way. But if they increase the HP by like 2 to 3 times, I think that could really stall out the match. Especially if you're not playing squads and you only have 1 or 2 people on a team and you're trying to like spray out a piece of cover that people are hiding behind. Like those people could just hide behind that cover forever. And I think that there's already ways of being safe as well. Like you can hide on a sloped hill so that people can't shoot you. You can use shield bubbles as well now, because everyone has the option of shield bubbles with pocket items. You can even use bunkers if that's really a big concern. You can use mobility to reposition to get to a safer area. Like there's so many things that you can do that I feel like there's already enough. Like I don't think they needed to add more, and I think adding too much could even be bad for the game in unforeseen ways. Anyway, next point, reboot van timers reduced. I also don't like this. I think in the current state of the game, I think rebooting is already way too powerful as it is. I mean, you can buy reboot cards for 500 gold, which is incredibly cheap. So you don't even need to pick up your teammates' cards. On top of that, you can drive the reboot van. So while you're rebooting, if something bad happens, you can just hop in the reboot van, drive away, and reboot anywhere on the map. I think that the last thing that rebooting needed was a buff. If anything, rebooting I think just needs a nerf. I think they need to increase maybe the gold count to like 1,000, so that rebooting costs 1,000 gold or something like that. To balance out the different aspects of the game, make grabbing cards actually worth something. Make it so that people cannot automatically instantly reboot as long as one teammate is alive. I think that that's kind of an L change from me personally. All right, next change, rebalanced loot pool, defensive and utility. I have not very many thoughts on this because it's very vague. It's just rebalancing the loot pool. It's very specific with defensive and utility though, which means I guess they're buffing things like bunkers. They're buffing things like the recon scanner. Maybe they're buffing the overdrive grenades, or maybe they're not even buffing them. Maybe they're buffing and nerfing them in different ways. But that could be interesting. It's just a bit too vague for me to know for sure. And then the last 2 points I'll just clump up together into one: improved smoke grenades and brick bunkers added. I think that smoke grenades are, I honestly don't think they're that good, especially when Med Mist is in the game, and Med Mist is basically like a smoke grenade, but it also heals you. And Flowberry Mist is like a smoke grenade, but it also heals you. I guess that's why they improved the smoke grenade. Maybe it has a wider range. Maybe it's a thicker smoke. Although if it's a thicker smoke, I feel like that also griefs you because you can't retaliate. I feel like you use smoke grenades when an enemy is looking at you. But if the smoke is so thick that you can't even see through it yourself when you're inside of it, it's hard to like make a counterattack happen. And eventually that smoke's going to go away. And if the enemy hasn't given up and you haven't formed a counterattack, I feel like that just kind of opens you up for third parties and nothing really happens. So I I don't know. Like it's I don't think smoke grenades have never been that good in my opinion, and I don't think there is a world where you can improve them to the point that they're good without giving them a different trait as well. And then as for breakup bunkers, I imagine it's a bunker that is stronger than a normal porta bunker. Yeah, I guess that's a thing. Yeah, I mean, I felt like bunkers were already plenty strong as they were. I don't know if breakup bunkers is really a thing. Like, they already have different stages of quote-unquote bunkers as well. Like, they have porta bunkers, they have porta forts, they have porta fortresses. I don't really know how what is it called again? Break a bunker. I don't know how break a bunker really falls in to that sort of category. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Overall, I think that the changes coming to Zero Build are massive. I think that the overall balance of the game will shift drastically into a little bit more competitive, a little bit less RNG focused game mode. I think that a lot of plays that previously were not possible are now possible with this change, and I'm actually excited for this update. I'll definitely be capturing some gameplay of it when it releases, showing you guys my thoughts, my experiences. And so if you want to see that, just drop a like, comment down below, and maybe subscribe to the channel. I'll be pumping out plenty of content for you guys over the coming sort of weeks and months. But yeah, as always, I'm out of here.